Welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Foodie Frequency. Yes, we've had a retitle. We've finally settled on a name and it's got a radio link. So I'm your resident guest, Ruth from Honeypot Cottage Bakery, and my resident chef is...
Liam Dillon from the Boat Restaurant and Micro Farm.
Awesome. So this time of the year is... What's going on with the micro farm this time of the year in January? So we've just had the snows and everything, haven't we?
Yeah, it's not looking too good out there. It's looking a bit bleak, if I'm honest. Okay. But it's the perfect time to start moving things around. And year on year, we've been kind of increasing the space we have out there. And the plan is that year on year, I'll be more sustainable. The restaurant can have another ingredient that we don't need to buy. So now's the time I need to get busy in the garden, moving things around and planting more vegetables and plants and what have you. So
what ingredient are you hoping to introduce this year that you don't have to buy?
Probably more currants. I want to get more currants.
You like your currants, don't you?
Yeah, currants are fantastic. And what else? So rhubarb, tick, improve our asparagus crop as well, because I have one bed which is just dedicated to asparagus, which has taken a beating over the last year. So I need to make sure that, because of course asparagus crowns, they take 3 years to develop, 3 years before you can start to crop them. So I've got a few 2-year-old crowns in there. So hopefully this year we can crop, but then I want to make sure we've got more.
Yeah, we inherited an asparagus bed in our house when we moved in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we've got rid of it now, which with hindsight we shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, so we moved in the December. Then the following year, it's like, what the? Oh, we've got asparagus.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have fresh asparagus out the garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Cool.
So that's what we're doing now. And just got to wait for the frost to go away and we can start putting the shovel in the ground.
Yeah, because it's not advisable at the moment. You're going to break that shovel, aren't you? Or damage your leg doing it. Okay, so this week a few people have been celebrating Burns Nights. That was earlier in the week, and we know there are still some Burns Night suppers coming up. Yeah. So you're doing one at the boat, aren't you?
Yeah.
Thought so.
Of course, we anything we can get involved in and kind of, it's an excuse to kind of come up with a different menu as well, to be honest, because over the years we've become more and more fixed in our menu and our structure. So it's nice to kind of break it every now and again. Of course, we change our tasting menu as much as we can with the seasons, of course, and in between we're always tweaking. But Burns Nights is a good one. And I think over the last couple of years, it's kind of really picked up interest, if I'm honest. Before, I've had the boat for 9 years now, so it didn't see much of a thing for me in that period of time. But now in the last few years, it's a good night out. It's something to do. Whether it's, everyone's been celebrating Christmas and that's the next thing to let's go out and do this. But
driving in this morning, I was remembering it was, where am I now? 30 odd years ago, I went to my first Burns Night supper, and it was amazing how much it is celebrated in England. Mm-hmm. It's not. Yes, it is a Scottish celebration, but it suddenly made me realise there are Burns Night suppers going off all over the place, and it's like, but we're England. Yeah. Why are we doing this? But at the end of the day, it's some good food, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got haggis. Yeah. So what's in a traditional haggis?
What's in a traditional haggis? Yep. God, here we go.
Sorry.
Well, essentially, it's offal. I think people are going to have their own take on it. Yeah. Almost like we have faggots. It's a Scottish offal, let's say, meat sausage, if you will. So it's wrapped in as lovely as it is, animal innards in casings, and then it's steamed and roasted, and I think it's delicious. I'm a massive fan of offal, to be honest. Yeah. Growing up as a kid, my nana would always have offal, and I was never scared of it. I think it's an acquired taste, but it's so good for you as well.
But it has to be cooked right as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think environmental health now, I've got a lot tighter on how you can enjoy offal. I think calves liver was a big one for me. When I first had the boat, I had calves liver, bacon and mash on the menu. Obviously cooked pink. Yeah. That's not allowed anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because of the, it's a personal preference. I'll still eat it pink. I know where it's come from, using good suppliers. But it's something you can't really get away with anymore. Just restrictions have been tighter.
Which, if you don't know where the meats come from, we understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So haggis, back to haggis. I think it's difficult to do what we're trying to do at the boat, with more fine dining and, warrant the spend and the care and attention that's gone into the food and service to then jazz up a haggis, jazz up. Another dish, and let me be careful how I say this because it's early in the morning, I'm not quite ready yet, but Cullen skink.
Yes.
Like a smoked haddock soup or that sort of variation. And how are we going to elevate that to, a level that you probably wouldn't have somewhere else?
Yeah.
So no matter what menu we put on, we still need to make sure that
it's fine dining.
Of course, our ethics are there of how we're going to work and what we want to deliver. So it takes more time to prepare and get ready. So, but yeah, I love it. It's a good night, and we get people coming in, and we used to have people come in and play bagpipes and the killing of the haggis, because it's kind of a traditional.
It's a ritual with the poem, isn't it?
Yes, there is. So it's a good friend of ours that came in and would bring in the haggis. But yeah, we do that less and less now. But it's still a good night. Okay,
so you've mentioned the starter, which is always Cullen skink when it comes to it.
I say always, but
traditionally isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we've got haggis, tatties, and neeps.
Yeah.
To get this the right way round, Swedes for us usually. Swedes and neeps here, aren't they? Neeps are. Oh no, that's the wrong way round, isn't it?
Turnips. So turnips. I don't know where you're going with this, but I don't know.
I think it's
educate me here.
I think it's the other way round to what we think it is. It's the other way round in Scotland when it comes to neeps, but surely listeners will correct us on that.
Yeah, we're going to have a telling off now.
We are. Yeah. Well, we're bound to at some point, aren't we? Yeah. And then it's the pudding is traditionally raspberries.
It's kind of trifle, isn't it? Crackland.
That's it. Thank you. See, we haven't prepared for this at all, have we?
No, off the cuff.
So that's cream, oats, raspberries.
I believe raspberries. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which aren't in.
But no, they're not at the moment.
No, but
raspberries are fantastic because you can get spring raspberries, you can get autumnal raspberries. They kind of start to pop up all over the place, and we've started kind of burying them all over the garden. So the pigeons and birds weren't interested last year, so now we just spread them everywhere, almost like a kind of edible hedgerow starting to build as well.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, but with those dishes on Burns night, I think it's quite nice just to take the spirit of it, but also kind of put your take on it as well.
Yeah.
Unless you're hardcore Scots, and then you want to have the same thing every time. You want your big pile of haggis and mash, and the format it is. But we have to do something different. We have to kind of tweak it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Just because the nature of what we're trying to achieve, really.
Yeah. We're still in veganuary. I know you hate
unfortunately.
This. I know.
Hey, hate's a very strong word.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm more than
I know.
Chef.
You do vegan. I know you do.
I've got to
embrace it.
Yeah.
So there's actually, for our listeners out there some very, very good vegan options on the haggis as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are. Which have the same spice mix and the cereal that goes into them.
Okay.
So I'm quite fortunate I can still celebrate Burns Night, but with a vegan haggis. Well, it's a vegetarian, not a vegan haggis. Although it is vegan by nature. Yeah, but they call it vegetarian. So I can still celebrate it. So we're on the last throes of anybody who's trying veganuary. And we spoke last week about the chickpea curries.
Yes.
So I've been doing quite a few of those with just kind of coconut milk.
Okay.
And different flavours and then putting loads of spinach in, letting it cook down, put the chickpeas in. That's been lasting me 3 or 4 days. Husband's been joining in. And you can mix up the flavours in that. So you can, as you said, you can make them as mild or as strong as you want, curry-wise, and they're very filling. And tofu. Do you use tofu at the restaurant at all?
I don't use tofu, no. I have used tofu.
Okay.
My preference is the silken tofu.
Yeah.
The softer tofu. Just because then you can kind of, if the two of them, I think it's my preferred option.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some great recipes when you blend the silken tofu into things, and
you can make your chocolate mousses with it.
There you go.
Omelettes. So I use the silken tofu for the scrambled egg.
Right. Okay.
Or scrambled tofu. I know a lot of people use the firm, but when I was eating eggs, my eggs were always very, very creamy. Mm-hmm. They were the dry, sort of crumbly scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
So I would use the drier, firmer tofu for egg mayonnaise sandwiches, in inverted commas, because it gives a better texture.
I'm definitely happy to get out of veganuary.
I know you are. Yeah. Okay, we will go back to the weather.
That's fine. I think that I don't want to come across rude.
But it's difficult because of your training.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm also worried about, I'm looking a lot into health at the minute and what I can do at the restaurant to change the way we cook and the way we work because of new information we're given. And it's very difficult. It's hard to take a fine dining restaurant and say, right, we're going to stop using that, we're going to stop using this, because, you might be on a diet or eating well, and then you come to the restaurant, I want to spoil myself for a treat. Yeah. So it's difficult to how far you go with it. But the start for me is to kind of look into how we cook in the restaurant and the ingredients we're using that will be better for our guests without them really knowing it as well. But on the vegan thing, I think there's just so much stuff that you don't know what goes into the food to try and make it taste like what you'd expect it to.
It's the fake meat substitutes.
Yeah, and all the chemicals in preservatives and stabilisers, and we use a couple of stabilisers that in the kitchen as it is. I'm worried about those people developing allergies to these sorts of things. So it's I find it hard to, because I think about my nana, God bless her, when she was around, and if I said to her, "Oh, this lady or this gent's vegan," she'd be like, "What?
Yeah,
what's that?" You wouldn't compute, because of the generation, the way they grew up, and they could see what they're eating.
Meat and two veg.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, my rant over.
No, that's fine.
But on that note, I will still deliver, we'll still offer.
I know you do, and looking forward to coming and visiting for that reason. This time of the year, we had the snow a couple of weeks ago. Stews and casseroles.
Yep, stews and casseroles.
What's a stew and what's a casserole? What's the difference?
The difference, I think the terminology is banded around, and it's fair enough. But stew is kind of, my understanding is on the stovetop.
Yeah.
Watching it, stewing it away in the corner, heating up the room, and then the casserole lid on in the oven, let it bake.
Yeah.
Let it stew. So I think, it's kind of first memories of being interested in food, actually. Again, my nana, parents worked a lot, left on the nan's doorstep, and then she looked after me, or back from school, or picked up from school. But yeah, a casserole that had been left in a pot, chucked in the fridge to cool down, and I'll be going in there nicking all the meat out of it.
Yes. And it tasted better, didn't it?
Yeah. Anything like that, it's stew, casserole. If you make it, it's always the leftover portion that you have the next day. That's always so much better, because it's been marinated and it's been left to infuse. It's just,
and the meat texture seemed to change as well for that extra day, didn't it?
Yeah.
For some reason, it seemed to be more almost gelatinous.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was just a different texture in it. We thought, did the same, go and raid it, and then come to serve it for your tea that night. It would be just vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all gone.
None left in it.
There's no meat in it. Yeah, because you've been nicking the meat out of it. Yeah.
And I'm going to assume, and you should never assume, but any recipe that you can do as a stew, you can do as a casserole. In theory.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's hard for me to say unless you're looking at it, but I prefer to do a lot of things at home on the stovetop. You can see it, you can see what's going on. You just got to make sure you find a pot that will allow you to put a raw flame onto it.
Yes.
If you're using gas.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. So your go-to stew or casserole, what would it be, and what would the recipe be for our listeners?
Oh, I'd probably go to Irish stew, probably. Let it tick over, drop potatoes in it. So it's lamb neck, Irish stew. Yeah. Traditionally thickened with mashed potato, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to make it in a restaurant when I first started cooking. I did an Irish stew. And we just thicken the sauce up with a little bit of mash.
Okay.
Whether that was a cheat, but I'm pretty sure it's quite authentic way.
Yeah, because putting potatoes in some things anyway, naturally, because of the starch coming out, and naturally thickens the stock anyway. Yeah. So putting mashed potato in makes sense. Oh, okay, we're trying that one at home. Creamy finish to it. It's really good. It's an amazing recipe, actually. Whether it was a cheat to thicken it with mash, I can't remember if it's the traditional recipe, but yeah, an Irish stew. My dad being Irish kind of fits nicely. Influences that.
Yeah.
And what would you be serving that with?
Well, there's a lot of veg in it anyway.
Yep.
Turned vegetables, classically, I guess. But yeah, just more mash probably for me. More mash,
Crusty bread to mop up the gravy?
Yeah.
Given.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. That's all. I didn't say that because it should be always on the table, bread. Good bread. But just a nice, wholesome meal. I'm a fan of when I'm at home. Maybe it's because I'm lazy when I'm not in the kitchen. When I'm at home cooking or what you are at home, you want a kind of nice homely feeling dish. Always on the stove top, let it stew over. Just one pot wonders, dig in and, just nice and simple. Tasty and simple.
Cool.
Takes the stress out of everything.
It does.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a dessert with that, I'm going to assume a crumble. It just follows naturally, doesn't it, really?
You know what? I haven't had a crumble for a very long time.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's easy.
It just follows the stew, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Just throw it in the oven. Yeah. And that's always good. When I was a kid, there's all memories of, irrelevant of the outcome, Mum there'd be a pudding in the oven of some description. When we're lucky enough to get a pudding, usually it's fruit salad and yogurt, So what's the pudding? Oh, fruit, an apple. Okay, great, cheers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can pop it in the oven, then by the time you have your dinner, you take it out and it's just ready to go.
Yeah.
Crumble. Okay. Good one.
Yeah. So if you were putting a topping on top of your stew or your casserole, God knows what that becomes then. So you've got the traditional hot pot, Betty's hot pot from Coronation Street, which is the sliced potatoes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I grew up having dumplings in my stews or casseroles. Still love a good dumpling.
Yeah.
There's just something about them as well. Warming, comforting.
Cheesy dumplings. Lovely.
Oh, yeah. You can do scones on top as well. What other toppings could you do?
You can do anything you want. Whatever's in the fridge. I think the Lancashire hot pot is amazing. With the sliced potatoes, let it bake away. It's perfect. Yep. Bit trickier to execute, I guess, hot pot than a stew and putting a topping on afterwards. But yeah, puff pastry. Oh, I can't go wrong with puff pastry. Especially that soggy bit underneath. So you've got a nice crisp puff pastry and the soggy bit. That's the best bit.
Yeah.
All the sides, always good. Mash pastry, potato, dumplings. What else? Don't know.
Okay, we'll get our listeners to send in what they would put on their stew and casseroles that we haven't thought of. That'd be interesting going forward.
Absolutely, yeah.
I dread to think some are going to be very interesting. Some might be very. We may not be trying them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they can. We'll take their word for it. Yeah, and also someone can give me a kick up the bum if the Irish stew recipe is wrong. Yeah,
so we'd like to know if anybody else uses mashed potato to thicken their stew.
Yeah.
But it does make sense because of the starch. Yeah. Okay.
And it works.
Yeah. So I know this is our second episode and listeners know these are a pre-record. So when we did our first pre-record, a certain show hadn't been on the TV.
Right.
What was it like having the MasterChef in the restaurant?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. We had a good laugh, to be honest. It was a really nice afternoon. We did 2 days actually. So we did the first day of just doing some dishes up and the guys coming in filming and understanding the lay of the land. And then showtime was one full day. It's fantastic. Loved it. The celebrities were brilliant, great attitude, just straight in, got on with it.
I was going to say that came across on the TV as well. That they did.
I thought a bit more hand holding, but they were really up for it, keen to just get stuck in. And it was just a bit weird because I was just like watching them with stuff, and I was like, oh, careful, mind that, watch this.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. Really, really good fun.
Do you keep in touch with any of them?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
No. No, I don't want to be that person that kind of hassles them after it.
Yeah.
I just said, thank you, very well done, and you did really well. And I'd like to see them back at the restaurant at some point.
Yeah.
They're very busy people, so.
Yes, and your the critics that were in, not the critics, the fellow chefs that were in.
Yeah.
Do you get to see much of those outside of that filming?
See Lee Salin every now and again. Less so the other guys.
Yeah.
A few of them travel quite from London. Chantal used to work with Chantal, or work for Chantal down in London. And so, they're Chet Sharma's in London, obviously, as well. So, less so.
Because of the distance more than anything?
I think so, yeah. Well, Dave's only at Hampton, so he's around the corner, but it's just time as well, at the minute. And, since it's come out, since it aired, it's not too long ago. So, and then Christmas, and Roll Train's Christmas. I think it was supposed to be aired in the summer, but it got pushed back. So, it's all been a bit hectic.
Yeah. So when was the filming for you then?
It was March, April time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a long wait
for that to come out and for you to be able to shout about it and everything.
Exactly, yeah. And it was great, obviously, for the boat, again, to see, and the place looked brilliant as well. I'm always critiquing, it's like, that needs changing, that's bloody rubbish, that is, and that's this, that and the other. But
when you sit on TV, you go, oh, actually, it looks all right.
No, you know what, there's an outside looking in, it looked great. Yeah. So, it's I just made it sound like it's really bad, haven't I? But no, I think as someone in it every day, you don't really... Yeah,
you are more critical of your own
fresh
space.
eyes on it, But
yeah. I mean, I must admit, it was the first time I'd seen inside the boat and around. It was like, oh, that's bigger than I thought it was, and things like that. And the kitchen looked up, but we all know filming does make it look bigger, and we know what an estate agent's camera can do, things like that. But I was amazed at how big and spacious the kitchen looked. Yeah,
the guys are really spoiled. We've got loads of space, loads of room. So it's and it's a shame now because you saw the garden there coming into spring, as it were, on the show, and now it's just lined with frost and snow. So it's kind of a big old difference.
Yeah, but people coming along going, oh, is that the same place?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now I'm looking forward to the spring and getting more beds put in and rearranging where things are growing. So can't wait.
Okay. So when does your menu change for the season?
At the minute, we're going to run through Jan, Feb. And then when we going to change, we're tweaking ingredients that we need that are finished almost.
Yep.
And I think the next big change will be probably April.
Okay.
April, early May. We're making some changes. The restaurant's closed for 2 weeks in April as well.
Okay.
So we're looking at having a bit of a spruce up. And just been a while since we've done anything. I've been focusing on the garden, the grounds, the kind of the brand, what we're about, and the kitchen. So now, and obviously the 2 pigs over in Barton, we opened that, and that's been taking a bit of time up. So now it's focused back on the boat. So
you've mentioned you got 2 weeks when you closed in April. Do you? So I know other restaurants have sort of like even an end of summer closure, a Christmas closure, maybe one other. Do you have other closures, or is this just one that you're planning?
We used to put closures in before COVID, and then after COVID I kind of stopped closing, and I was trying to look at staff retention as the reason why. I've worked in restaurants where you are told the closures.
Yep, and that's your holiday.
That's it.
Yep.
And then if you want to take time out of that, you can't. So for me personally, I think the staff retention is better when people are allowed to go away when they want to go away. So it's a tough call between putting closures in, affording those closures also, because it's not, even if you have a slow week, you can still contribute to covering costs.
Yes.
When you're totally closed, you're just turning your back to everything. You're still taking those costs on. So it's a brave thing to do. It's you've got to be in a good place to be able to do that. And it's nice when the staff understand that as well, not just, we're going on holiday. You actually, no, the business has have to do where you have to graft to then help us close and whatever. So we haven't put closures in. Staff have gone off on holiday, left, right and centre whenever they've wanted to, and we found cover. But because of the change in the restaurant for those 2 weeks in April to start the year, coincide with a nice menu change coming back to, more so into spring, and we'll be hitting some fantastic time of year for lovely produce to be coming through. Staff can get a good chunk of holiday. And then I'll do another closure probably towards the end of the year. Yep. I'll give the guys a bit more time this year at Christmas, because the way Christmas has just fallen, it was a bit awkward to try and get time off.
Yes.
So, I promise them a longer time off next year.
Yeah, those midweek Christmas days are they don't work, do they?
No, and then we did a New Year's Eve menu as well, kind of. So it's you're off, you're back. There's pros and cons to closing and not closing. So you just got to work it out as your own team, and everyone has their own plan, and everyone works their own way.
Good.
So, so we will close again, and then leave a little more, maybe a couple of weeks for the guys to take when they want to take them in the year.
Brilliant.
So I think that's going to be the nicest balance for me personally and for the business, or for me personally running the business, should I say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you once again for joining me, Liam.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
If any of our listeners would like to send in any questions for myself and Liam going forward, we'll be honest, we're recording every couple of weeks, so these are as seasonal as we can make them and as on topic. So if you want to drop your questions into ruth.redgate@lichfieldradio.org, we will try and answer them. But that's this week's edition of Foodie Frequency done. Enjoy what you're eating, folks. Bye.
Bye.